Should we unmute?
Going to go ahead and start the hour. Are we good, Kurt?
Yes.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Affordable Housing Advisory Board meeting. It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025, here at the Lawrence City Hall Commission Room. We're going to begin our agenda by starting agenda item 1 under A, approve minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the October 2025 minutes, October 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the October 25th meeting.
Second.
I have a first
Third.
and a second.
23rd,
The 23rd, right?
not the 25th.
Not the
Sorry.
25th. No worries. I have a first by Monty and a second. Go ahead and go through roll call. Okay, Mark Bueller.
Aye.
Hi. Mario.
Aye.
Right, thank you. Barry McMurphy. Donovan Dillon.
Not on yet.
Okay, don't see Donovan online, so we'll move forward. Monty Sokup.
Aye.
Christina Gentry, aye. And then we do have an additional person in our membership. Do we need to include the new member, or do we need
Until
to?
December, I think. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ayes, 1 Donovan Dillon not here, and it passes. So that motion is approved, and we can move on to the next agenda item for today. It'll be a call to order. So we'll go ahead and do a roll call again, and if you are present, and I see that we'll give a little bit of time to see if there's any additional members online. But I'm going to go ahead and go through the roll call as it's written down in our membership book right here. So I'm going to start with Mark Bueller,
Present.
Mario Fiera,
Present.
Barry McMurphy,
Present.
Donovan Dillon, Monty Sokup,
Present.
and Christina Gentry. I'm here. So that's everyone in attendance. Thank you for joining us this evening. The next agenda item, we will receive hybrid meeting and public comment guidelines from Leah.
Good evening, everyone. Please silence your cell phones to minimize distractions during the meeting. The primary format for accessing and participating in this meeting is in person at City Hall. Virtual access to view or participate in the meeting cannot be guaranteed. The chat function will not be monitored. Thank you, Kurt. General public comment will be accepted at the end of the meeting. When the chair calls for public comment, please approach the podium to indicate you wish to speak. Virtual participants should use the raised hand function to indicate they wish to speak. Once your name is called, you will be unmuted and you may turn on your camera to provide your comments. The city reserves the right to turn videos off or to mute participants. Please state your name before speaking. All comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Moving on, our agenda has us, item C, discussing and making recommendations to the 2025 Affordable Housing Trust Fund Awards. We have all been given instruction and multiple tutorials have been made accessible to board members regarding the recommendation process. Our task today is to achieve a consensus of a recommendation on the allocation of funds based on the established criteria. And so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. If we can pull up the projects and the, I feel like it's a recommendation total for the applicants. It's the final page in our big thick of pages that we received, and share that. There we go. Okay. And so let's just go ahead and dive right in. We'd like to start with the evaluating the process by which we have had a unanimous agreement for our recommendations. And so in looking at the Excel spreadsheet here, we've got some numbers in there and the medium and the average scores. And so we'd like to just go ahead and look at that as a combination of all of the board recommendations numbers. So what I see here is a consensus with the board voting on an average score of 127, and the board is all really recommended something that we came to a unanimous decision on, and that is the Douglas County, I can't read that.
Are you looking at
Yeah.
the vouchers?
The Lawrence Douglas County's housing authorities, News Horizon housing vouchers. We've got a number in there plugged in, and I think that if we like to either have a discussion on that number, or we could just say that is final, I'd like to go ahead and plug that number in and continue on down the line of the great applicants we have yet to have recommendations on.
Madam Chair, I want to go over, I can't actually see that. Is this the?
So these are median scores that
I'd like
funding.
to at least talk about that.
Absolutely.
Median score is the middle score. How many voters were there? Are there 5 or 6?
6.
Donovan voted.
Yes.
Okay. So did you average 3 and 4? Is that what you did? Because median's middle.
Yeah, I average. I have an average. Are you talking about the recommendations or the scores?
Well-
The average score is shown here. I only did the mean, not the median for scores. Or are you talking about the recommendation?
You did the median.
For the recommendations, I did. Are you talking about the scores?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the middle score. Right?
yes,
Two things there.
recommendation,
Score of the matrix.
right.
Which is the first blue column. So she averaged the scores on them, that. And then the recommendation for the dollar amount is the
But-
median.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
But the average score is not a monetary number.
Correct.
The average score of our scoring.
Right. it's
Right.
That's the
yeah,
scoring, yes.
Okay.
matrix.
What I'm talking about, you average one, you're taking the middle on the other one. So that means you had to,
There's
You got
the average.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also calculated the average, but the last
But-
couple years and in discussions with the chair and vice chair, it was determined to lead with the medium as more representative. That's what we've done the past few years as well, but I did calculate the average score in case members were interested in looking at it.
well, did you send me that?
I did, yeah, but because we wanted to highlight on the median, the average score cell was,
Collapse.
yeah,
What I got from you doesn't have the average.
it was just hidden.
Oh,
So when
all
you
right.
printed it out, yeah.
So, okay, so can you
So-
make that bigger? I can't see it.
Sure. So it's more or less
It's pretty
the
close.
same,
Yeah.
but there were some outliers that skewed.
I really can't see it.
What I'm looking at are their average scores, and these are the scores that are contributed by each of the board members as we went through each of the 5 points, what we were recommending and what was the points allotted. And I think it's pretty consistent with the board consensus, like 127, I'm not sure the total scores were allotted for the Lawrence Douglas County Housing Authority's New Horizon project, but it seems like this board scored higher. Or it scored in a support for this applicant. And that's comparative to the amount of average, pretty close to what they had asked for. So it seems to me that this board understood that this was a good thing to support and did so with the scoring and the points that we gave them.
So I think what we're doing is we're just trying to start a discussion place. And so what Christina's doing is starting ideally with some of the higher scores and then looking at our funding recommendation based on median number rather than average, which I think however you all want to do that, I think the median is a little bit less, it's a little more of a round number. So it could be a little bit easier to work with as a starting point.
The only one that's confusing is the Cohen-Eshery project, where the average is 45 and the median is 0. So that means you had
So
2 people that scored high.
that obviously shows there
Zero.
was some support for it.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
that's the only one that's skewed off very much. The rest of them are
pretty on point.
relatively close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry if I wasn't
Does that
more
make sense?
clear, but yeah, I think we're starting with
No,
what
I
we've
just
consensus
read
with.
what she sent me and didn't see the average.
The average.
Got it.
I see.
Yeah, I was,
Okay. Yeah, I think us coming to agreement with, what we have recommended, I think starting off with the one that's in the most agreement, that we've seemed to have a consensus of supporting, it seemed like this board overall had a median discussion about like this housing stabilization collaborative. Am I looking
No,
at the right
New
one?
Horizon.
New Horizon, there you go, thank you. And so with that, I just wanted to start like that as a
Sure.
baseline.
You want to do the easy ones? Yeah.
And
I do
then
too.
plug the other numbers in. I think that's a good way for us to begin.
And if you like, I can just plug in numbers as a placeholder and then,
right?
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
helpful.
so put
Thank you.
75. I would recommend that we put 75 over for New Horizon.
Yeah, I recommend that we do
As,
that as well.
okay.
Okay.
We all good with that?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
In no particular order, but let's maybe have a discussion on the next item that we seem to be in the most consensus with as far as how close the average or median is to the affordable housing dollars requested by the applicant. What's that next number? Let me see.
I think maybe Independence Inc.
Yeah, this one's kind of.
Do you?
It's hard to look at average
I know.
score and look at.
Which,
We need to pick one.
does the board want to continue to look at both, or which one would you like to see?
I like seeing both. but
Okay.
I can go either way.
I guess
They're
it's.
close enough.
I guess for me, it's hard to be like, pick the next one when they're, unless we're just going down the line. I mean, we could also go by highest score.
So we're talking about Independence Inc.
Or we could just pick them and just
No,
go
she
for
just
it.
highlighted that.
But let's maybe talk about the average and the requested and the median. It's pretty close as well.
I agree.
To the amount requested and the amount that this board has recommended to the applicant. Let's talk about a number for that.
I'd recommend 75.
For Independence Inc.
Yeah.
Well, I could concur with that.
Okay. And are we all in agreement of that number?
I'm good with starting in these
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah, we may end up adjusting later,
Yeah, absolutely. Looking for common ground here, but absolutely.
right?
Okay. Let's move on to another application.
Like Lawrence Tenants is probably the next closest one.
Similarly to the ones we agreed on supporting as a board, and it seems like the average score here was also,
I have my hearing
Limited
aids
to?
turned up as loud as I can, so to the extent y'all could put the microphones closer to your face, I can hear better. I
Yes.
really appreciate it.
Okay,
Really, yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I can hear Mark's baritone, but the rest of you, I have a hard time picking out.
Yeah. Are the
All right.
mics
Well,
working?
we'll just-
Yeah, the mics were
That's
not
the best
working.
compliment I've gotten, a baritone. I am clearly the worst singer in this country.
All right, so moving on to Lawrence Tenants, an educator for everyone. The average score here was 96.9. The requested was 170, and here's the average. This board is, I think, pretty consistent with, what,
So I just
70?
want to point out that the other two were a little bit easier because they're closer to the funding request. We're now moving into territory of significantly less than funding, so I would encourage discussion and justification for this. I think I can start since I'm just yapping over here. So I personally came in recommending to at least cover one position for an educator for everyone for this particular project. That would put it at 85,000. So we did have the conversation of wanting to have fundraising, wanting to see that. It seems like they came back with a request. I think during our discussion last time, there was an appetite to fund at least one position, if not all, just due to the constraint of funding. So I personally would make a recommendation to do half of the 170, and then I'll just stop talking.
Well, I guess I'll be the counterpoint here. We funded this last year, and we're over halfway through the year. And I don't see much, and I certainly see no attention to private fundraising, which leads me to believe that we are it. We are where they're going. Now, the letter says they're going for foundation awards, but it says they're going. It doesn't say they're there. It doesn't say they've applied. So that's one concern of mine. And the other one is this program works on supply. Or excuse me, this program works on demand. We have demand for this money. We have $4 million on $1.2 million. I'm trying to get as many houses on the ground that people can live in and stabilize their life as I can. And so this, to me, I'm not supporting it, but those are my comments.
Thank you for those.
I'll add, go ahead. I'm somewhere in between you two. I felt like maybe funding this at the same level we funded last year, which would be $70,000, which would fund their position, obviously without any increase. But if they were able to make up the fund, if they can raise $15,000, they will have the one position, and that would essentially force them to do that, which I'm a little over the mark. I'd like to see them do some more active fundraising and find other funding sources, or we are it. And so I kind of came in around 70, just my 2 cents.
Thank you for that too. Similarly, I had a recommendation for 85, and that was because there were some extra monies that I could plug in there. But the educator for everyone, I think the supply, or you said supply and demand. I like that you said demand and supply, because the demand of education and understanding tenants' rights and understanding what could be housing affordable and keeping people housed is absolutely what tenants, I think, aims to do, to provide a comprehensive educator plan. They also came back with the fundraising development plan and already 4 months into development after we asked them to provide us with some sustainable, palatable information. So continuing to support them at the half request or having one educator has done a really great job in our community. And I'd like to see this program, this pilot program, continue in that way. Not supporting the 170, but like Monty said, I supported 85,000.
I'll add one more thing. We don't have any funding, and you're going to laugh when I say this, but this is the tenant side of life that we're talking about. We have no landlord side of life, and I don't want sales tax money going towards research for landlords, but landlords have a say in this. And landlords, I'd like to know how many dollars landlords write off every year for tenants that don't pay for whatever reason, good or bad, for damage caused, good or bad. That voice is not being heard. I don't think this is the place for that voice, just like I don't think this is a place for this program. So that's where I am.
I will counter that and say that there is a very clear power dynamic that exists between someone who owns a property outright and someone who is renting. And we have seen nationally as well as locally unjustifiable evictions placed on tenants, retaliatory evictions placed on tenants who are not aware of their rights because they are trying to just live and pay their rent. So if somebody is making a business decision to own a property and take a risk, that is not of the personal fault of a tenant, what they write off. That's a risk that you take when you invest in anything, right? We need to stop thinking that being a landlord is a career. That's become something that I think has skewed our housing market quite a bit. in order to start shifting that conversation back to what is truly equitable between property owners and those that are renting, I believe the proactive work of tenant rights is actually starting to move that conversation nationally. They're pushing forward policy. They're doing tenant education. They're doing the work that folks who have the ability to not only have a primary residence, but to have a secondary or more property investment have a clear advantage. And so this, I think, is an opportunity to include more of the community in the conversation. If we have more than 50% of our community being renters, how are we supporting them in the conversation of affordability around housing? I think providing an educator to at least support that and support this very clear power imbalance and at least try to find ways to have some accountability, I think is really important. So I'm going to just put that in there, that if you make an investment and you have to write something off, that's because you've made an investment. If you are trying to live and pay your bills and there's still a clear power dynamic, then I think that there necessitates some support from the community to understand and be educated and have proactive policy that supports that power imbalance.
My issue is not with your premise. My issue is how it's paid for.
Mm-hmm. With taxpayer dollars, 50% of those who are renters.
I understand.
Okay.
All right, so do we have a number or something that we can work with as a foundation for this application based upon our conversation?
I was going to say my recommendation falls in line with you and thinking the 285,000 recommendation. So I think if we could meet in the middle between 70 and 85 or 85, that's where my recommendation would lie.
Yeah, I would at least like to start at 70, and then if we have to move in negotiation space, we can have that conversation, but that's my...
You know, the board has charged this agency, this entity, with finding other sources of funding, and I think the message has been given that we're not a permanent, continuing source of revenue for them to support what they're doing. I think what they're doing is terrific. I do.
Yeah.
And I agree with pretty much everything you were saying, It's not, there's nothing here that says we have to fund a full second year. We could fund a partial year, and which would give them more support than they have on the books right now to buy a little more time, you know, a few more months even, to ramp up their fundraising efforts. So I would lean more toward the lower end of it, just because we have, what'd you say, $4 million in requests, and we've got some really good projects, and we've got some projects that have been supported by the board and the city in the past that need that continued support to get to completion.
I kind of feel like we need to fund a position, partly because if we fund a half a year and we don't have another funding cycle.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of a bad deal. I'd rather fund one. They've asked for two. Let's fund one. If they can raise money for a second position, great. I'd like to see it continue and see one position funded. That's my...
And I think that good faith of 15,000, can you fundraise that to fill the halfway?
Yeah.
Is a fair and more achievable, I think, than...
It's achievable at this, yeah. Or maybe it's 75, I don't know, you know, whatever you...
So what's a number that we want to plug in based upon what we're talking about? I'm sorry, I'm moving us to a confirmation before discussion's complete. But
Yeah.
let's get a number in there so that we can...
Let's put 70 in there, and then we'll, if we come back to it, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
fine with that.
or 75, I don't care. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know what
I
we
just
did
wanna
last
get
year.
one-
70, was it last year?
do 75,
I think the 75 is fair.
because that funds that one position plus a, 4% salary increase.
Look at that.
Well, we all got to live.
We all got to live. Cost of living increase there.
We can come back to that. And
Thank you for that discussion, and we'll come back to that as needed. What's the next
do 13, do homeless resource.
applicant that we kind of agreed on mostly? Is it unanimous
Yeah,
support?
Homeless Resource Center.
Homeless Resource Center. Community Voices for Housing. This is another community engagement project, and really good discussion to have too with this board about what it looks like to support it.
Would it be easier if we switched spots?
I'll
Would
swap
that be
you if
okay?
you want.
Yeah,
I'll swap
I'm
you
happy
seats
to.
if you want.
It'd be easier if I wasn't old and blind.
That I can't
5,000
help
was the
with.
average, okay.
If it helps, it's also on that screen.
Yeah, now you
That's real helpful.
Equal distance.
I'd recommend we not fund it.
Okay.
I'll start the discussion that way.
Thank you. Any group consensus on that?
I
I'm
would
in,
support that.
I'm in consensus, and I think just to provide rationale to the folks at home, while I truly believe that having a community-wide discussion around housing affordability is a continuous task and probably a lot of the responsibility of folks on this board. It can't just be awareness campaign. I think that was the thing that got me is we have a strategic plan that has some pretty clear goals, that has policy that I think, at least in the years that I've been involved in it, we've been working really hard to shepherd that with the community. I would definitely be interested in speaking with this group about ways to do that, that could be lower cost, or where we could find funding and resources, and speaking with the county and the city in regards to a place for everyone of how to do that. But I think just as far as AHAB's goals and the missing component of actual actionable items in it, I just think funding it with the limited resources that we have would be difficult for me to say yes to.
I'm in agreement. Sorry, if there was someone else speaking. Go ahead, Donovan.
Yeah, to chime in, I wholeheartedly agree. Also looking at the breakdown of what the funds would be going to, I believe nearly half of it would just be the administrative costs, not the programming or actual producing the content or targeting it. And that was also a major concern for me.
Okay.
I think they did the one thing that we have in our goals, which was looking to increase the community awareness. But it's the engagement piece to me.
Yeah.
Specifically, the mode of where they're engaging. There's just, the church talks, and to me, using and utilizing tax funds, and only placing it in a place where,
Yeah.
maybe not only, but that was the place they talked
Predominantly.
about being as a mode of transportation into this communication and conversation. That they were going to be using church talks and that religious.
Did you say church toxin?
Church talks?
Talks.
Oh,
Church talks.
That was
there's another term I don't know.
audience.
Okay,
Not church toxins.
In
thank you.
the conversation. Yes,
I'm so lost.
no worries.
Yeah,
6, 7,
don't do that. Don't do that. Christina, that's a really good point. Thank you. And again, Homelessness Resource Center, I will personally say I'm happy to have that conversation. That is within the realm of work that I love doing. Let's get together as a community and figure out how we can have more awareness, but some strategic action behind it to especially help this body. So.
Yep. All right. I think we are all in consensus here, and the number will be 0.
Do you just want to start working up at this point?
At this
Okay,
point.
that sounds good to me.
Yeah, okay. So Douglas County Housing Stabilization Collaborative would be next.
Not the hardest one.
And so I want to look at the average scores, and I know that we all contributed scores, and it seems to be
Yeah.
reflective of also, the recommendations for funding amount awards. But I'd like to have a discussion on, your scores and what you see as the responsible address for the applicants'
I'll jump
requests.
in. I'll
Yes.
jump in.
Yeah.
So you guys know, this is not anything new. This is a good program. This is the wrong place to fund it.
Yep.
And I've been advocating for probably, I don't know how long,
Since it's
a long time. And the funding keeps going up. We've got to, in my opinion, we got to start a trend of the funding going down, or we're never going to wean them off of this funding source. I put in 150 on mine, but I'm on the lower side of that. I could support something a little higher than that, but I just
would-
don't see how we can do 350.
I would go your way on that. I think median was my number. I think I was in the middle on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd support 150 for the very reasons you talked about, and you've been here longer than I have, and it's been our plate for how long?
We really ramped it up during COVID, and we had extra
We had the
funds
funding to do it, yeah.
We had the funding to do it. It's not that it's not a great program, because it is. I think it does some real good work.
Yeah.
It's just, this is the wrong
Right. I just,
funding source.
yeah,
And
like,
we've asked and asked and asked.
how can we underscore? And I think, while we cannot make a recommendation on how the city budgets, this is our recommendation for how the city moves, right? And to have the affordable housing tax not only continue but increase, we not get any more of that funding, so the Housing Trust Fund is not seeing an increase because that tax is increasing. I have a very obvious question of where is that particular funding going? What is it being utilized for? And why is there not a budget recommendation for the other half of that money to be utilized for rent and utility assistance, for emergency rent and utility assistance? This is the thing that not only keeps people housed, but has also helped folks who are experiencing housing instability and homelessness get access to housing. I've seen that because I've been a part of the administration of this funding. And so I'm disappointed to see year after year this not be a requested budget item. And so I think the more that we fund, the more that we are saying it is okay for it to come out of this fund. But we're also in the position where we're actually putting people's lives in, and that
Better place.
makes me incredibly upset and frustrated. And I really hope those who are going to make the final approval on our recommendations hear that that is something that needs to be deeply considered. Because it just simply does not make sense to me. Like, the math is not mathing for me, if we're gonna speak in the generation behind me's lingo. So I have questions. I would love to hear from that particular department, how they're utilizing that part of the fund, the tax fund that they're receiving. Because it seems like a natural fit to put it in the city's budget, especially if we have precedent from the county doing that. So I am also comfortable with 150. To be quite honest, funded it at less, and it was a really difficult decision because I also know how necessary that money is to this community.
Should I go ahead and put in 150 as a placeholder?
Yeah.
Let's put in 150 as a placeholder.
Senior Resource Center.
Let me start with my recommendation for the Senior Resource Center. I went ahead and put in 15,000, and that can also be something we negotiate, but close to the requested. this is one of the things that talks, and it's in a place for everyone, affordable housing objectives, and also in our affordable housing advisory board goals. So it meets both of those criteria by being, improving the condition of affordable homes and then increasing the supply. We could read those lists, here they are. But that was where I ended with my recommendation.
Yeah, I can support that. And my reasoning is a little different in that, as I recall, they don't have projects lined up. It's kind of an at-will thing. So one year, the 25,000 we gave them stretched 2 years. So 15 might get them through a year and get all their projects done. I think that's to me, that's a reasonable number.
I'm with that. I started funding by how many households they could impact. So I went for 18,750 because that could get 6 households. But I'm comfortable, especially knowing that it's rolling basis. We don't actually know how many will come in. We know they're using the funds historically, but I think that feels appropriate because that is how I treated Senior Resource Center Habitat. And I was like, okay, if I can go by how many we can actually impact, that felt like the fair narrowing. So 15 is okay with me.
I could support that too.
So is there a group consensus here, Donovan? Any others, any conversation?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm good with
I
that.
guess that was positive.
Absolutely, great, thank you. Next one would be Lawrence Habitat for Humanity critical home repairs.
Yeah, I landed pretty close to the median amount.
Yeah.
Again, I was factoring households and it was like we could do about 7 or 8 with that amount of money. So
What's that number?
125,000.
Yes.
Yeah, I was a little lower than that, but I could go with 125.
Help me, I funded it fully, so help me understand why.
So my justification
Yeah.
was just based on just the funds that we had. So again, I went by household. So they said about $15,000 per household. So I said, okay, if we can't do all of them, how many can we do? And so I went around the 7 or 8 instead of the full 10 to 15.
What was their funding last year?
About half that, I believe. Is that about right?
My note
Can you pull that, Leah?
said we funded 100,000 last year.
Yeah, 100,000 for the
Maybe
current year.
that's why I did that. Now I'm looking at notes. I'm like,
Sure.
So would we want to start with just level funding at 100,000? We're going to get up into some of these others and not have any money on the table.
yeah.
So now the budget matters.
Budget.
It all matters.
I know, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Just,
And
you just
I
wait
agree.
till
I
we
mean,
get
I-
up there.
Wait too. Wait till the big stuff.
I'm comfortable at starting at our level funding of 100,000.
I'm comfortable with that. I had actually had 75 on my thing, so I'm good with 100.
I am too. Yeah, I think I wrote some notes. The detail to scrutinize is how critical repair costs per household are 15,000. And they're going to assist 15 to 16 families, and they've already described it on their application that they have those families ready to go and waiting for that.
Yeah.
So I did also support them quite well in my recommendation too. So, but I'm happy with the numbers that we have.
Let's start
presently.
there.
We can do 6 or 7 with 100.
Okay.
Yeah. I do like the program because they do things that other programs aren't covering.
Absolutely.
You know, they do, I mean,
Okay. Just plugging
it's a
along
different
here.
niche.
The next application that we're reviewing.
Tiny Homes Housing Authority.
Oh, the numbers changed.
start.
Okay, I was like, why did I remember? I was like,
If you want somebody to start,
I remember.
I funded this at half. I funded it at one home. It's a great little project. Us funding 100% of it, almost 100% of it, a little for 2 homes. It's a lot of money for 2 homes from a subsidy standpoint, but doing one, They can come up with another source for the other, and
Well, I'd see if there's support for both. I completely agree, but I know 2 units are going to get on the ground.
yeah,
Yeah, and will be subsidized
and permanent.
and
right?
permanent.
So I'd make a play for more
I also.
if there's support.
Yeah, absolutely. I had them at 150. I think they're just right on. They've done the things that some of our applicants are looking to do, which is like just making it accessible. I know the ADA compliance in those units, not having this be of
Will not happen.
the space to reconcile for ADA occupants. It's not there, but I mean, it's just right there and ready. It's
Got
deed in hand and property is ready to go. So.
Partnership with a local, with Peasley. I mean, I initially had it at half, but I hear that. I was also just trying to crunch numbers, so I actually would make a recommendation for full amount, because we know it'll get done.
Madam Chair, do you mind if we put 180 in for now and come back to it?
I think that's a safe bet. I mean, I have 150. I guess we can absolutely continue scaling down and the numbers make sense, but 180
Yeah.
sounds good to me as a baseline and continue moving forward.
Did we talk about independence? Oh, we already
Yeah,
did.
Yeah.
We funded that.
Right?
Already
We
did.
funded them.
Okay.
We found to be them a great applicant, and there are great applicants. Let's go on to the next.
Floret Hill.
Let's have a conversation about Florida. I'm just going to go ahead and just give what I had recommended. And this is only because of the really great opportunities, thank you, no worries, that they provide. They've done the job of coming back with. But no, they've done a great job of coming back with acknowledging the community engagement piece. They've come back to us with more information and communication about how this will be not only fitting the place for everyone affordable housing objectives by increasing the supply of new affordable rental home and ownerships with 3 or more bedrooms, right? We have 3 or more bedroom units. And they're also doing the good job of improving the condition of affordable homes because they're, brand new. And they're in a space that is not the usual zip code. And that's so important to move scattered sites of affordable housing around our community. So I only placed them at, I only recommended 200,000, but that was just because of not having enough money to move and negotiate otherwise. But I'm happy to continue having that discussion with the large group about what your recommendations were.
Yeah, I would say let's put a number in here and let's revisit and see if we can fund as much as possible.
I had
Because-
400.
Yeah, I also did.
5.
And then I was like 7.
Okay.
It's
And then there's some energy for at least 4, right?
Yeah.
We're finding the medium in
let's
that.
put 4 in.
Let's put
All right,
4.
we'll work backward.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend we
I'm
put in
gonna-
4. I shouldn't talk late.
Start.
No, I think
Sorry.
starting at 4 is good. I think as we start thinking about moving some numbers, they are the highest score on here.
Yep.
Right.
And so, and also just based on that public comment that they gave that they need this money and they have the 4% from LIHTC and is
They get it.
permanently affordable. And so this is the check every box application.
Right.
So how can we set a clear understanding to everyone who's developing and submitting projects that this is what we want to see? So, okay.
Do we have a number in there, 400?
Yep.
Are we comfortable with moving on to the next application?
Yes.
Okay.
Just,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
no,
Let's pause on the.
I'm slow.
No, you're good.
They do have an application in with Federal Home Loan Bank for the AHP program, which I believe announcements happen late December. And they're requesting 1.6 million, which, at least according to the numbers they've provided, should more than cover their full gap.
Okay.
So is there a contingency in the recommendation that if they're funded by AHP, that money would get reprogrammed.
That's a great
That
question.
is a
And put
great
back in the
question.
pot for reallocation.
I knew I liked you.
I really like these guys. I've worked with them.
Yeah, no, they've done other projects for us.
Hey, Bethel Estates, they're great.
But I wouldn't want to, I'd be reluctant to give them
Right.
$400,000, $600,000, $800,000 and then turn around, in 2 months, find out that they're over-subsidized. And, how does that work?
Can we put a contingency?
Well, wouldn't the Federal Home Loan Bank just give them less?
Yeah, I guess I don't know, did they anticipate the award in that application? Did they anticipate the trust fund award?
In their application,
Yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah.
I think so.
Because how they're like, I feel like how their public comment is reading and how they've expressed to us that it seems like they need this, otherwise they're going to have to go back and seek other sources.
Right.
So was that didn't feel prior to the application for the federal home loan, but do we think it was? That is the other source that they're seeking?
Can we allocate an amount to them and then have that discussion before the commission meeting somehow with them about, look, if you get your federal home loan and you don't need this, we need this back. It's not to add to the profitability of the project,
them know.
it's to subsidize something else somehow. I mean, that's what I would like to see us do, but I don't want
Well,
to
then-
not
But
allocate.
Can we ask them right now?
Do you know when their hearing is?
Yeah, I would like to.
I mean, like, yeah, I would like to know if they've
I
considered.
like your idea, Monty.
Dave
Yeah,
is on
let's-
here. They're, okay, I'm just looking back at my notes. They are already deferring 1.2 million of their developer fee, which is not uncommon.
Right.
They defer it
Yep.
and theoretically can take it over.
Oh, I see. They're there trying to get that back.
They're putting-
Yeah.
They're going to do that regardless of our,
Right,
I'll bet you.
right.
I-
And, I'm not solid on the details of how
Right.
it works, but the investors and the tax credit folks actually require them to demonstrate that they can get that back if they defer it or get some of it back.
So we've got a number in there, 400. Did we want to just keep that and continue on and continue negotiations? Are we comfortable with the
Yeah.
400,000?
Yes.
Yeah, let's finish the,
Okay. All right. Let's look at the Flint Hills Holdings, Older Lofts Repair.
So I'll start. So I had this funded, and then I thought about it,
I get it.
and I zeroed it out. And the reason why I did that was because we don't know what units this is affecting. This is a mixed affordability and market rate building.
Which, they have three, which one are we talking about?
Polar lofts,
Polar
yeah.
lofts.
Mhm. So the
this is the repair.
repairs.
Yeah.
Also, the affordability period for Polar Lofts, the end of the 30 years is in 12 years. And I'm assuming these repairs would extend past, the life of that would extend past that amount. There is no guarantee after 30 years that they won't absolutely go to market rate. So are we setting a precedent that we're okay with doing repairs on units that are not affordable, and something that is going to end and have the affordable units go to market rate? I don't think that's in the premise of AHAB. So I would say 0.
Yeah, I had this at 0 as well.
Are we on the Polar Lofts? I'm sorry.
Polar lofts. I had it at 0 as well. I just struggle with a project that was highly subsidized originally and is
I'll make,
15 years in. I mean,
I get it.
I just don't,
I'll make one play for the evil developer.
Oh, but we've got two more if you really want to.
Yeah, choose your playwright wisely.
And I insure some projects, insurance, boring stuff. And they're 50 years old. And so we have to inspect them and blah, blah, blah. It's not your problem, it's mine. But their ability to yield a profit and keep those in good shape is, I would argue, untenable. And because they've owned them so long, they're held by people that want to die, so the capital gain, that tax deal. I mean, it's too darn bad. Now, I don't know if they have other sources to improve those units, but the people that live in them, they can't be happy. I mean, I'm telling you. So there's that, and I also believe that no one can predict what the cost of anything will be in 3 years, 5 years, let alone 15. So that's my play for a little empathy, sympathy, whatever the term is. And my recommendation was to fund it at half or some $40,000. So I've said it.
Thank you for
I
that.
think, I think they do have a bit of a safety net in that in 3 years, when it hits 15 years, they can re-syndicate and apply for new tax credits to rehab it for
Okay.
another 30 years beyond that.
Something I didn't know. I appreciate that.
They're, yeah, none of that's guaranteed, though.
True.
They are asking up to 83,000, I think is 25% of the total cost for.
Is the environment for granting tax credits,
Very competitive.
but diminishing? I mean, statutorily, Kansas has changed their mind a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
In other words, the trough they go to find investors and all that.
Tax credits are, I think, pretty solid.
You do?
I don't think anybody's,
All
I'm
right.
not hearing or seeing anybody say what's.
The moment.
Okay,
Because legislators all like it.
okay.
The state tax credit, I mean, I think they did the math.
No.
And understood how deep a hit it was gonna make to provide a one-to-one tax credit matching the
I got it.
tax credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of that is changing. They're not going to do 4% deals with the state tax credit, but they're, at least for a short time, they're gonna continue the 9% match.
Okay.
So that may not be there in 2 years or 3.
Yeah, I think even with that, and I appreciate that, like I understand that this does unfortunately ultimately affect the tenants, right? But I think a property, again, that is potentially going to have, that right now is majority of units at market rate, and has the potential to put the rest at market rate soon, right? This isn't a new project. We've already subsidized it quite a bit. To me, we're setting a precedent to fund things that will be going to market rate, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. That doesn't fit.
I don't know how many of those units are already market, but the tax credit units can't go to market for at least another 12, 13 years.
Right, but will this project, the longevity of these repairs, extend beyond 12 years?
I think that's what they're trying
Right.
to do, is to keep the
Right, but then,
in shape so that it lasts another
right,
15, 18 years.
right. But then we're having that problem where we're meeting the end of that affordability, and we funded something that will go beyond.
In 12 years,
Right,
not 3.
right.
Okay.
It's gonna, any property is gonna need a lot of money,
Right,
to make a full 30 years.
right.
Well, I'm noting that as a team, as a board, the average score was 70 for all of us, and the possible score was 200 to give and review. So I think, this conversation also speaks to that, where there's consensus fund partial, and then there's a zero number. What do we feel comfortable placing as a placeholder for now, as we know we've got, 3 more projects that are new development to look at and review?
To cover the HVAC is 32,960 according to their application.
32,960,
So 30.
so maybe 30? Okay.
That surprises me more.
That's higher than that.
Needing new HVAC at
Right.
12 years surprises me more than needing
Right.
mortar. I mean, that's an old brick and mortar building that, I
Right.
mean,
Right, which,
I think they've had,
last, but,
this is just, I think they've had humidity problems.
okay.
So I'm guessing those systems are working harder than they want to. That's my
That
guess.
makes sense.
Yeah, well, masonry is not a vapor barrier.
Yeah. And I think that, I can't remember how old the roof is. I used to insure that too.
that was a
but,
design choice.
Anyway,
We also, at the same vein, I'm saying that amount, our average and median are quite low. This is the second lowest score that we have on here. So to me, I'm comfortable, I guess, starting the conversation at 16.5,
Okay.
because that's our median.
Do I hear any other numbers and,
I'd like to see 40.
okay. All right.
Those are two different numbers.
Yeah, this is a number that, like, it varies quite a bit. What's a middle ground that we could agree upon? I hear 16?
Well, originally you said 32 was
32, that's right.
HVAC.
Yeah.
Could we do 30? It's $13,500.
Could you scroll down just a tad bit, just to see what our available remaining balance?
Yeah,
Okay.
130,000 left.
Okay.
I had that as a zero because I was trying to make the bottom number come out at
Right.
1.2.
Right.
Same?
That's
Same?
a reflection of the average score that we get.
Yeah.
Really is
Because I don't
reflective of
think
that.
it's, a good use of money. It's just, there's some other uses of money.
Okay. Well,
Can we put 20 in there?
I think 20 would be responsible, considering we are still in negotiations.
I guess if we're really ready to argue the next two, then we can go at 20.
Yeah,
Three, the next three.
Next three, excuse me. I thought we only had two left.
Oh, I think you'll have more support than you think.
Oh, my goodness, okay.
Our next,
And not because anyone's the evil developer, because they're not evil.
the next application, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, Mary.
You're good.
Because we know you're not evil. We're going to look at the East Heights project and the new development for the multifamily rentals. Oh, this project
start.
has got so much promise. Yeah,
I'll
go
start.
ahead.
This project, I agree, has tremendous promise. There's not, to me, there was not enough detail in the proposal to support it.
Correct.
I agree.
That's where I am. There just wasn't any meat in that for me. Too many unanswered questions. I love the site.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
I love the idea.
I think it will survive for a better day, and I think we'll be there for it.
Yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
to see it come back.
Yeah.
Agreed. And also, if they're putting in an application for Light Tech for 9Del2 and for East Heights, which one's going to get
Yeah.
approved?
And it would be easier to have the conversation about this one if they could have provided even a draft of what they expect to submit
Right. Right.
in January. Of here's how, and here's what it's going to include. Does it have a daycare? We don't know. Do we?
Right.
Does it have these other
Right.
features and amenities that they talked about in the application?
I think their intentions are 9Del2.
I agree. I mean, I think I'm glad to see an appetite for this type of development. I would like to see an application in better form next year, so I will make the recommendation of 0.
I will
this
also
time.
agree with that recommendation.
The only reason I have a different number is I I wanted to hit the score sheet, but our monies are so tight that
Yeah.
I put $5,000 in there, but
I might pay for a
it's
few
probably
light
going to be a
bulbs.
0, so.
Okay.
Site survey,
Yeah,
cover survey.
we'll cover a survey.
Are there additional comments coming from any of the board? Okay. We've got a number placed in, and we've got one last. Two last. I'm so sorry. Looking at the highlighted and looking at what we've
I'll be the
committed.
lone wolf on one.
We've got the Foothills Holding 9Del2.
Madam
Consider.
Chair, do you mind if we go to Cohen Esri?
Oh, did you want to skip and go to Cohen?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that'll probably clarify some things
Okay,
for all of us.
absolutely. And I can begin with that one. I put a 0 amount for that, and I can discuss more, but I'd love to hear anyone else's comments and your recommendations.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I went through. I would like to see some funding on this, I guess. There are a lot of good things about the project, where it is in town. I don't love the layout and the one elevator and all of that. I mean, there are definitely some problems with maybe the design. But the city came forward, with the site. It's self-parked downtown. I mean, this is a tough project. To self-park a project like that, you're talking about maybe $40,000 of space to create the parking. And that's indoor parking for all these seniors. I mean, there's just some good things about it. I agree, there aren't not some great things. I had it at 70. I struggled to find the money to do that
Yeah.
Yeah.
throughout the process, but I reworked some of my numbers to push money up to that, because I think it's got the right potential.
One comment I heard outside of this, just from somebody interested in it, was that that we weren't losing any parking, and that's not the case.
Right.
We're losing We're losing parking.
We're losing some parking.
Yeah. We're going to have some more tenants down there, good news for downtown. But now, the same person also said, Mark, we don't have a parking problem in downtown Lawrence. It's an attitude thing. Everybody wants to park right in front, all that. And I've lived here too long, and so I'm guilty. I am starting to understand the 10-hour meters. I'm getting there. I'm trying. But I do think parking matters. Public parking matters. So it didn't hit my score sheet.
Can I ask where you have public comment?
At the end of the meeting.
Would you, Chair, clarify that for her, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. As we discussed in the beginning, the public comment comes at the very end of our meeting. Absolutely, you're welcome.
Even if it's on.
Even if it's on the one you care about. Sorry.
So, yeah, I guess I have my concern is labeling something as senior housing, which I think is really important and we need. We also saw a ribbon cutting for a senior housing project that is subsidized, permanently affordable, and will continue in our community. And I think that I have some issues with with the layout, with not having as many more accessible units. I think for a population that's aging in place was kind of a concern for me. The elevator is a concern for me. There were too many things that I'm like, if we're really dedicated to providing aging in place, there are some factors that we just cannot overlook. Otherwise, we're doing a disservice to tenants, the end user of the housing. Now, if you didn't label it as senior housing, that could have been a different conversation. It may be accessible to other folks, but if we have aging in place and we want that to be the priority, we need to make sure that the design is going to prioritize people staying there for as long as folks that need to age in place are staying there. And I don't have the confidence with this particular project. And if it's reworking that, does that mean we're now going to have to subsidize less units? because we are asking for more accessibility. We're asking for another elevator. So I think I have too many questions about that. I did put some funding in here because I appreciate the spirit of having senior housing downtown. I think that's great. But yeah, compared to some other projects, I'm on pause.
I'm glad that we're talking about parking, accessibility. Accessibility within the infrastructure of the unit is important as well. I think it is ineffective emergency response to have a 94 unit for low-income senior housing project with a single elevator. I know that board members have also raised that as a concern. I think even when we were asking for more information about an additional elevator being installed, the cost of a single commercial elevator can easily approach $100,000 or exceed that because it doesn't account for construction costs associated with an elevator, so like a shaft, machine room, all of those things are taken into
Probably close to
consideration.
400,000.
So, even with that amount, I think this is not
For an
accessible at all. It disrupts the daily life of the occupants by having one way in which to enter and exit, and it just doesn't speak to me as not being life-threatening during any power outages or anything that would happen in the building. So I'm taking that into consideration. I'm taking into, Brandon Woods and the very understanding of what we have with senior housing and how that looks to take folks from an actual burning building that need to have additional accessible exits. So I did, a zero amount based upon just not seeing that there be a safety element for the community that is going to be needing to live and reside there.
So I have the same concerns about the design, the accessibility, the elevators. The accessibility, I think, they expressed some willingness to address that. And all of the units are going to meet at least fair housing design requirements, which is visitability, adaptability, blocking for grab bars if not installed, those kind of things. But, it's $1 million.
Yeah.
I would expect that some of those design issues would be addressed by Kansas Housing. They're going to have the very same concerns, and probably by folks at the city, when they approve the final plans.
Yeah, it'll have to be code compliant.
I know, Flint Hills, it's even once they're approved and ready to go, they're back and forth with the city and the historic folks and until they come up with something final. I did not recommend funding, and part of that is that Kansas Housing will be announcing tomorrow whether they get funded with the 4% credits. So my thought was let that play out, see where that goes. At this late date, anything we recommend is
It's not going to matter.
their application either way.
Yeah.
And then have them come
Reapply.
back
And I
if there's a gap.
I would agree with that. Just, it's not saying this is not something we don't want, because like I said, this is a very attractive development. I would love to see more senior housing. That is a huge request in our community. I'm glad that we would have more entities questioning some of the design, and I would hope that if it is awarded, that we can see this application again with addressing some of the concerns that we've had, which I hear the willingness to do that, and I appreciate it. We want to be partners in development that is going to meet the needs of our population. And while something meets fair housing, it doesn't necessarily mean it meets the needs of the community. So I know fair housing is bare minimum, y'all. We can't use that as the guiding principle. So my hope is that feedback is taken in and that we're willing partners. But yeah, I would recommend 0 right now.
Okay. All right. I think we are in a consensus unless there's other boards members who want to contribute.
How much money we have left?
I don't like it, but I'll go along.
Monty,
That's my compromise.
like it, but you don't agree. Okay.
I understand everybody's arguments. I don't disagree.
Well, thank you all for that discussion. Let's move on to
Ninedale.
Ninedale.
Is the money gone yet?
No.
No.
We have 110.
I'll throw out my 2 cents, I guess. I put this at 40. And my really reasoning was at 40,000, he gets 1 point and gets this over the threshold, and at 980, he gets 2. If it's that good of a project, it'll get funded. I don't know. I just put,
So you're negotiating with him.
I'm essentially saying, you know,
Yeah.
I had full funding. We're this close, and
yeah,
that's a pretty cheap ticket in,
yeah.
I mean, I can't believe I said that. $80,000 is a cheap ticket. It's
Well, I got 70,000 on my thing because I had that on the other project, so
Really?
I could go further.
Can I ask how much in total subsidies would we be providing per unit for this project?
So
If we were before and after, if we were to fund it full amount?
Well, it's been already, has been provided 450 in trust funds, so I don't have a calculator up.
Okay.
But 450 plus whatever the
Let's
final
say-
recommendation is. Yeah, so,
30, how many units?
I got it here.
well, the AHAB first funded the project 450 for 29 units. This application is submitted for 26 units.
So I had that at $43,846 per unit.
Okay.
So, yeah, depending on,
And if we're looking.
I have a little rough scratches here, so
I have, oh, that's per unit, yeah.
with both, if you awarded both,
Both.
That's a lot of money.
it's a lot of
Subsidy.
How many units?
26.
Now 26?
It's 20 a unit, right?
Well,
If
we were, yeah,
530 for 26 units.
Yeah, let's do the math on that.
That's 20.
Yeah.
Is there a confirmed number of units that they are building? I have a couple numbers. I've got 29, I got 26.
Right.
That's my-
36 one-bedroom apartments.
That's my issue too, that if we funded something starting at 29, it's coming back now at 26. If we awarded this, we would be awarding 20,000 per unit in subsidy. Our metric that we go by doesn't award any points for anything over, 15? So we're giving an exorbitant amount of subsidy
pretty high subsidy.
to this project.
Yeah, you're giving 5 times 26. You're giving 130,000 more than you want to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't feel comfortable funding this.
What's,
Do we think that, I guess my philosophical question here in the application, if the 2 points are not awarded, would they still be granted? They're saying this is the top application of the bunch. And we're saying 2 points is gonna
Make the difference.
make the difference. I don't believe that personally. I mean, I definitely appreciate wanting to be the best of the best and showcase Lawrence's as having the best possible development, but I have an issue with providing that much subsidy.
I do think that it is also important for the AHAB to, even if it's not a discussion that you all have in making the recommendation, to acknowledge that currently this project is not planning on being in compliance with the current city agreement for funding, which is an agreement for funding $450,000 for 29 units. if you all as a board are comfortable with a developer having an agreement to produce a certain number of units and then coming back and saying, sorry, can't do that. I need more money, and we'll be doing fewer units without any discussion about the reduction in those units per the agreement. And, that's a discussion for you all to have, but do want to just make that transparent and that's the situation.
Thank you.
You said that a lot better than what was coming out of my mouth.
So the cost ultimately be for 26 units, total costs, I'm thinking there's a $740,000 number I have right here in my notes, and that was a combination of what Tony or the developer has asked and received from grants and subsidies thus far. But we're looking at $28,000 per one-bedroom unit if it is 26 units. I don't know, that's something I wrote down here, but
I thought we were working with 450 and 80. Are we not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
have,
that's 43. I came up with the same number, 28.5 for the 450. And then you add this, the 80, and you ended up at 43. I don't know.
That's
It's a lot.
I can't with coming back with less units, which listen,
Well, I
it
think- Oh.
happens. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think this is partly a contractual issue with the city, because they are, to get the 450, they should have to deliver the 29 units. I mean, our contract with the city doesn't have the number of units in it.
it does, and if the AHAB awards funding based on 26 units, then that original agreement will be amended
Okay, so,
with the reduction of units.
but we could say, I'm not suggesting this, but we could say, we're going to award $20,000 for 29 units, and it would hold the 29 unit number.
Could it? Can we
I
dictate
mean, he
that?
can't get out of delivering 29 units
So-
out of the last contract, or, no, we should not modify anything if it releases him from delivering.
I don't think we should fund
I'm okay with that, too.
if the agreed upon contract is not being met and then another request for more money is being put in.
Right.
That,
Can I-
yeah.
Can I clarify something?
Yeah.
We approved 450 last year,
Correct.
and there were 29 units in the plan.
Yes.
Is that true?
There were,
36 units in the plan, or no? 30,
in the original application, yeah, and so the AHAB awarded or recommended, and then the commission awarded a reduced amount from the request, and based on the amount that was actually awarded to the project, then the developer and I spoke about what would be feasible given the actual award, the number of units, and so in the agreement, the number of units was reduced from the amount stated in the original application to the 29 based on the funding awarded.
So did your math, I assume you did this, did your math take into account the per unit funding we did?
It did, yeah.
So 36, okay. So the original application was for 28, is it?
It sounds like Christina has the number up in front of
well, I just have some highlights.
No, you had 36 units, and I want to know that. So originally it was,
$12,500 per unit at $450,000 request. The original applications, 36 units. We have now scaled down from
oh,
a
wait,
number of.
it was more than 450 though, Leah?
It was the requested amount versus not what was awarded.
I just want to know what we did and what we thought we did.
Let me bring up the application.
Yeah.
So the original application was for 740,
Okay.
and that was for 36 units.
Okay. And so then us awarding 450, the negotiation became I can do 29 units.
Correct.
And then somehow between now and then, a 26 number appeared.
Like that rate would be 600,000 though. If we take the 740,
15,000.
740, 36 ways, it's 20,550, 500. And we thought we were getting 29 units. So that's a request of 600,000. We did not give him 600,000. We gave him 450, right?
Correct.
I just want to know what we did.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
somebody's going to say, but you did this, and I'm going to say, okay.
You know, I'm going to just make a recommendation.
Do it. Do it.
I'm going to recommend that we fund zero simply because of the confusion that's been created. We don't know what we're awarding for what. So I would leave the existing contract in place. Let's get our 29 units for the subsidy we've done and call it good.
I agree.
And not add to the confusion or the mess.
I agree.
or the mixed
I agree.
numbers.
Yep, you should meet your contractual obligation, otherwise,
Otherwise, we're not,
What
we
are we
shouldn't
doing?
be awarding on top of
great.
that. If
yeah, I also
if we're
think-
still negotiating after we've awarded, you know.
Yeah, if 2 points on a top application is going to be a make or break, I have some questions for KHRC. 10 points? Okay. Okay, it's 10 or 5?
10 points for 10,000 per unit or more
Okay,
on the original award.
Which he has. It's,
Which you would
we're at
have.
15,000 or something per
You
unit.
got the points with,
okay.
Keep going.
and then 5 points for $40,000 in fee waiver and 10 points for 80,000.
Okay.
Well, if this group wants to do that, I would still recommend we fund $40,000. I want that project built. I understand everybody's point, but I think in the world that we're in, we have it. So anyway, if you decide otherwise, I will not pout.
I appreciate that. I'm going to recommend zero, because based on the development first history and public records, 9 Lots 2 will likely use a combination of federal tax credit, local tax rebates, and market rate units to fund its project's completion. It'll find a way, independent of the 2026 Affordable Housing Trust Funds. And so I'm very comfortable with Monty in agreement with zero as a recommendation.
I'm in agreement with zero. It shouldn't violate your previous contract and be awarded for that. Sorry.
Would that not be something that the commission would address, though?
They should.
Rather than the board?
Yeah, they should. But yeah, I think
Point that out to them and
yeah, we would be setting a precedent too by funding something like, by making a recommendation on top of this confusion, I think can set a really interesting conversation for other projects. So I'd rather not us be in a sticky situation and let the commission work that out, and us, say, hey, you have to honor that contract that city commission set forward. I don't want to fund on top of that, so I'm going to recommend zero.
Let's remember all the promises that we expect people to keep when things don't go their way.
Well, nobody's giving me
All-
$450,000. I'm going to deliver on a promise.
All of the people, past and future, that we fund, when things go wrong, let's make sure they follow what they said they were going to do. I just want to be consistent.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't disagree.
That is actually our job.
disagree.
I know.
Yeah.
I know, but there will be others with hat in hand for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
They got a hole in their deal, or it can't get done. We've funded it partially, and we're the last resource. I just want us to remember.
Where we did 20.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
and those are real things. I mean,
I have a quick question. Is this our last one to consider?
Well, now we have money.
I believe this was our last consideration as a group, yes, the last project we're talking about
we have-
or discussing.
Before we start.
No, and
Really?
then go back and adjust,
Because we have 110,000.
right?
We have money left over.
Well, we haven't
I was gonna
zeroed out it.
suggest maybe if we can't come to a consensus, we see if there's other projects. I know there was a little bit of discussion of like, oh, I'd like a little more, I'd like a little less, and then see if there's any left over to throw something at this. I don't know if that's worth consideration, or if we just want to give this a number now and then work through all of them.
I appreciate
Assume we'll
that,
fund
but
$1
I-
million too, right?
Yeah.
I think that's fair. We had talked about negotiating other numbers, especially as they come closer to the amount requested, and we have some funds left over as we reviewed all as a group. But I would love to have a general agreement before we move together with recommendations, and if we want to consider what, could you scroll down just a little bit? I'm sorry, Leah.
Yeah.
Just considering there's $110,000 remaining, maybe we can talk about what that remaining looks like to add onto other recommendations that we had considerations for, to
Sorry,
add on to some other.
are you suggesting we don't put a number here, we look at everything else, and then we come back?
Oh, I'm not suggesting.
Oh, okay, sorry.
As a board, I would take a consensus of what that looks like to put as a number.
Yeah, sorry, Mariel, that was my suggestion.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay, I was like,
if like, I don't want to use the hill you're gonna die on for this
oh yeah, this is the hill I will die on.
project. That's all can come to mind, because all of these are important. But like, if there's like funding that people are like, I would love to see this project have 20,000 more, then
Got
like,
it.
I'd rather consider that than like,
I think that's a great way to look at things, so I would
Well-
agree with pausing this one.
That's fine. I'm going to leave all my positions where they are. I think we ought to not spend it all and have it, because next year they're coming back.
Do we have an obligation to all of the funding to be recommended and used in the way we do have a zero balance in this consensus?
No, you're absolutely welcome to save some.
I feel kind of weird holding money.
I do as well, considering we had great
So
conversations. on
taxpayer
things
dollars, we
like
shouldn't just keep it.
that are very close to the request, or could bring them closer to the request in order for them to provide service that they already in their application. So
I think it's, if we're not funding Ninedale, I think my preference would be to go back through and see what we can get closer to what they
Agreed.
ask for, rather than just say, I mean, because some of those decisions, most of those decisions were based on the assumption that we didn't have enough money to fully fund.
Agreed. That sounds right.
So we should get as close as we can on the ones that are
Okay.
the highest priority to do that.
I like to thank you for that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted just to examine our scores, and maybe that can also determine where the rest of the remaining could be supporting.
Floret Hill is the highest score. I also, to circle back to your conversation earlier, if you wanted to speak more about this development, Devin and David are on the line and can answer the question if the board would like them to respond to the question that came up earlier.
I don't think that we're going to do that. We're going to wait
Okay.
until public comment at the very end, and all the applicants get a fair chance to
Okay.
actively speak on their issues
I think that's fair.
or comments.
Would you like me to answer the question that they sent? It sounded like it's a part of the funding recommendation, the response to that question.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Is that,
Guess probably
yeah.
400. No?
Yeah.
Well, so I guess we have to consider that public comment is going to happen after we make a formal recommendation.
Not necessarily, is it?
Can
Can
we
we
open, can we open public comment and then come back to this?
To the final
To the final recommendation? Is that within a agenda procedure?
chair.
Welcome to the hot seat.
As you maybe recognize, I'm all about having the opportunity to meet people where they are and speaking in public access is the reason why we have our later meetings.
Yeah.
However, I feel as though there's been deep conversations as a board. We have reviewed this, and we have also taken public comment and consideration for each of the applicants commenting after every question that we
Okay.
had. I feel confident in this board to make recommendations wherein we have our comments that we pose to each other and come to in a consensus, and then honor the opportunity for a public comment at the
Yeah.
end of our discussion. That's where everyone else is.
Yeah.
And
I guess I just have that particular application. I have a point of clarification that I don't know if we can answer, but maybe that just,
Well,
as Monty.
Typically, as a board member, if the applicant's here, you could ask a question and they can respond to it. That's not
Right.
Public comment.
Right. I guess that was
Correct me
more
if
of
I'm wrong.
my request.
That has not been considered public comment in the past,
Because
but it sounds like
But that's up to you. If you don't feel comfortable with us taking questions, that's okay.
No, I feel very comfortable in taking questions. I feel it might pose a issue with applicants who that we may have asked questions from and then they're not here to provide that response. And I feel like that would open up a can that I would really rather not go
Okay.
down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like our recommendations and as a board and the consensus we come to will suffice the recommendations that we are going to commit.
Okay, Madam Chairman.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Where should we start? The highest score?
I'm gonna start with Senior Resource Center. I'd like to raise them up to 25 because I think they do good work, and we're talking about $10,000 there to get them funded.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in agreement.
So if the board is in a consensus and agreement to increase
I'm good with that one.
25,000.
When you look at
from
our
the 15.
average and all that, it was almost, we had one dissenter apparently.
It's also in alignment
unhide
with
those
all of our average scores too as well,
Yeah.
to support
Okay.
that
Okay.
application. Do we want to go on to, what was the other?
We talked about the Housing Authority's tiny home project as one we would look at again, or we had a desire to look at again. We got 100,000 left?
But we did fully fund it.
We did?
We got
Yeah,
180.
Oh.
Funded
Got
that.
180.
Why did I think we were doing that at 90?
Because you and I both recommended half.
Yeah.
That's why.
'Cause the
Never
cool
mind.
Because the cool kids wanted 90.
I know. Look at, we are not the cool kids. Why would I? I love that. Okay, never mind.
We've got $100,000 remaining and for consideration for the board. Or is the next application that we will consider reviewing?
I'm happy with all of them, just like they are. I'm done.
Do we want to increase Floret Hill from 400?
I would be in
400 is
favor.
what their gap is.
I would be in favor of increasing it to 5. I do have that question about the federal home loan. I guess, Leah, I have a question.
Well-
If there is a situation in which they're awarded the federal home loan and that over subsidizes them, can we ask for that money back?
we could put that as a
In the
contingency in
agreement.
the
In
agreement.
the agreement? How does the rest of the board feel about that?
I like some kind of clawback if they're overfunded.
If we can
Because-
legitimately do it,
Yeah.
I also think, as much as we've studied this, and this is the city commission's call, so we're going to make recommendations.
Sure.
And between now and then, if evidence becomes clear that things are different, landscape's different, that city commission can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
we-
have.
And they have.
Recommending board.
So,
I'm going to say I'm very comfortable. I did have, and I'm not the, evil person against the new development of Flint Hills. I recommended that their East Heights project receive 100,000. So with the consideration that we have 100,000 here, and all of us have spoken on each of these projects, I'm comfortable with moving 100,000 into the Floret Hill new development that we have as a remaining.
I guess I'm more asking, would the board feel comfortable putting that particular contingency?
On the 400,
on the
yeah.
On the 500, if we were to bump it to 5?
if they were otherwise fully funded,
Okay,
we would like that money returned,
okay,
or not
Or
spent,
whatever portion.
whatever the term is.
okay. So then I recommend using the remaining 100,000 to bump it up to 500 with the contingency of requesting that
Now, if you
funding
want the
back.
100 if you want the 100 back, you can put it in East Heights. And then it'll come
I have
back.
it in East Heights,
I mean,
but as
I know.
this is
Maybe next
really speaking to the consensus of the group and what we discussed.
I get it.
I need to see how that LIHTC funding shakes out before East Heights is
Okay, so are
on
we
the
there?
We have zeroed out.
Well, 100's not going to get them anywhere.
No, but also, are we just going to give money to give money?
We're giving money to show support for a project that can't get done right
Right.
now.
That have
And we'll
two
be back.
applications in, that one we are sure is going to be a good application that they are banking on, the other one not. Right?
I'm just saying it's a place to show support.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're likely to get the money back to apply some other good project in the future.
If you're going to do that,
You do that to all of them.
I would argue that you do the Cohen Estuary project and say that you have to get these accessibility and whatever
We have to
modifications.
redesign your project.
Getting the accessibility, appropriate accessibility.
I mean, we don't even know if East Heights is practical.
I
I mean,
know.
at least that's.
Why it'll come back to
That
you.
seems like an executable project with some real,
If we had some,
Well,
Lands
if
behind
You have to
request of $1 million and we're giving 100,000, I don't know where we can even negotiate anything that we can. offer.
I shouldn't have brought that up. It's
I
bad policy.
understand the,
Cohen Ezra needs to be redrawn.
right,
mean,
I agree,
It's not even, it's on a napkin.
right, right.
time kills all deals.
Right. I hope, yeah, my hope is both of those applicants
You know.
reapply. One
Yeah,
with
they may or
some
may-
different designs, the other one when they don't have another application that will probably go through, that they are prioritizing.
Right.
So that's why I'm still at 0 with both of those.
Okay. I'm good with where we are.
Where are we?
Would say all the board, these numbers match up to what our discussion has reflected, and are we comfortable with aligning with the numbers in order to provide a recommendation confirmation?
So
Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
can we just run through the decision or the recommendation on each of these?
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Absolutely
in one
could.
block?
Sure.
In the motion? Can we do that in the motion?
If you want to.
That would
I
be
will.
helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm happy to do it unless somebody else wants to.
Nope.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that the Affordable Housing Advisory Board make a recommendation to the City Commission to fund the following projects at the following amounts. Gosh, I need my glasses here. Flint Hills Polar Lofts at $20,000. Floret Hill LP at $500,000. Lawrence Douglas County Housing Authority Tiny Homes at $180,000. Independence Inc. Accessible Housing Program, $75,000. Lawrence Habitat for Humanity Critical Home Repair Sustainable Housing at $100,000. Senior Resource Center for Douglas County Safe Accessible Housing for Low-Income Seniors, $25,000. Douglas County Housing Stabilization Collaborative, $150,000. Lawrence Douglas County Housing Authority New Horizons, $75,000. Lawrence Tenants, an Educator for Everyone, $75,000, totaling $1.2 million.
A second.
This has been first and second. I'll go through a roll call. And if you agree, aye, nays. Mark Bueller,
Aye.
Mario Fierro,
Aye.
Barry McMurphy,
Aye.
Donovan Dillon,
Jersey, aye.
Monty Sokup,
Aye.
Christina Gentry. I'm an aye as well. That is the board in agreement, all of us saying aye.
6-0.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us, 6 ayes, and it passes through the board. Thank you all for this great conversation. Yeah.
Now, public
And
comment.
we just need
Now,
$4
we're
million.
moving on to the next agenda item, and let me pull that up real quick to make sure that I'm in, I know what we're talking about. We have a
Oh, yes. Steering. I need this.
to receive staff update on affordable housing study, consider scheduling special meeting of the Affordable Housing Advisory Board for Wednesday, December 10th, 4 to 6, and extending the regular meetings on February 12th and April 9th, 2026 by 30 minutes for the Lawrence Affordable Housing Study
10th.
Steering Committee. I would need a move or an action and a motion to approve holding the special AHAB meeting on the December 10th, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on a Wednesday, and extending regular meetings on February 12th and April 9th by 30 minutes. Can I get a,
So, excuse me, Madam Chair, there was, at one time I thought there were choices, the 10th or the 11th.
yeah, those choices have no longer been an
Oh,
option.
okay, so, all right, I'm good.
Okay, so those dates are December 10th, and then we were looking at extending our February 12th and April 9th meetings by 30 minutes in order to receive the steering committee notes and be part of the steering committee.
Madam Chair, I have a quick question before are we receiving any update? Is this the update? Before we schedule or after we schedule, I guess is your choice. Would you like us to schedule first and then hear what Leah?
Am I moving too quickly?
No. I was just reading it and I'm like, I don't know what comes first, but it's absolutely up to you.
Absolutely, it's up to it. So I feel like we maybe can make a receipt of staff updates before we extend to moving to holding the special meeting, knowing that these are the dates for consideration. So we're going to pause on that motion and receive staff updates.
Okay, so the affordable housing study is underway. We've just begun meeting with the consultants, development strategies, and a part of that study process is to have a steering committee. The role of the steering committee will be to attend the development strategies presentations and participate in their facilitated discussions with the consultant team and city staff. The presentations and discussions are typically in the 90 minutes to 2 hours, which is why we needed to allot some additional time in some upcoming meetings to act as a sounding board for the consultants, to provide strategic input, to provide feedback on the prioritization of strategies and interventions within our local context, to help guide and participate in community engagement, and to do a high-level review and comment on select project team deliverables. Do want to note that, there's, according to this is being funded by HUD as a study to learn the impact of COVID on the housing market. So there are pretty strict deliverables that the consultants have been provided for the study. So the steering committee will not be a part of designing the study, but providing context and giving feedback during the study. So the AHAB will serve as that steering committee. And by having the AHAB serve as a steering committee, that will also provide an opportunity for the public to be engaged via public comment in AHAB meetings and give feedback and follow along with the process of that study. So that is the update. The consultants would like to have the first meeting presentation in December, and they will be here at that time, which is why we were seeking to set a special meeting for that date. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Thanks so much for that update. Okay, so then after receipt of the update, let's move, and I need a action and a submittal of moving this to a regular meetings. Do I have a motion to make this into an action and approval?
So move.
I've got one. Do we get another?
I'll second.
Second. It's getting that time. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Oh, we're still
We
in.
have an action and we have a second. I'm going to go through the roll and take names in order. Mark Bueller.
Aye.
Mariel Fierro.
Aye.
Barry McMurphy.
Aye.
Donovan Dillon.
Aye.
Monty Soka.
Aye.
And Christina Gentry, I'm an aye. That's 6 ayes, and the motion passes.
What's an addition
Thanks,
to
y'all.
our
Thank you. The
regular
next
meeting?
item
The way?
for
Is this an
discussion
addition to our regular rehab meeting?
would be to receive and discuss Q3 Affordable Housing Trust
All right.
Fund reports.
We'll find out. There they are.
I'm not sure if we have a discussion on the Q3 Affordable Trust Housing or Trust Fund Housing reports as a group, or if we are to receive that from the city and talk about the overview, if there's a discussion on that. But I'm open to what that means when it says receive and discuss the Q3 Housing Trust Fund reports. Is that just a receipt and we just can move on, or do we need to have a discussion on that?
Yeah, so you're receiving them now, and then, yeah, it's up to the board if you would like to have discussion on what has been reported.
What say you, board? Is there?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I
The
was like,
wrong document
what?
up.
That was the application.
Projects.
Yeah,
I
there we go.
wanted to see the update on Bert Nash.
So is there discussion by the board to review some of the contents within this report?
I'll pull it up here. Okay.
I have not reviewed it. Can somebody give us an executive summary? Or how many pages is it?
16.
Can I just ask for an update on Bert Nash? I know that was one we had questions about. Leah, do you mind providing an update?
So the city is having discussions with Bert Nash. They will not be able to meet the deadline per their agreements. And so we are in discussions about how to proceed with that project. That will likely be a city commission discussion and decision, but I will provide updates as soon as I'm able to.
Any additional board? I'm sorry.
Is that looking, can you share anything? Does it look like an extension? Does it look like it's not going to happen? Or is there anything you could even share at this point?
There have not been any final decisions,
Okay.
but it may be that the project is transferred to another developer with the capacity to
Okay.
execute.
Summary report says they've spent so far about $2 million on the project.
Yeah.
And that at this point, they're, if I'm reading this correctly, that they'll be reducing the number of units from 24 to 12.
At this point, the report is outdated.
How does that work?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we just had a long discussion about a project that
Well, and the exact same
situation or similar.
Yeah, I mean,
similar.
it applies no matter who the
Right.
developer is.
$2 million, I assume, is for land acquisition, if it's the projects I'm thinking, right?
A lot of it was for the land
Yeah,
acquisition, yeah.
Okay, so that would just transfer with this developer that is, I'm assuming, determined by city commission. They will be, I guess my question is, it's not going to come back to us to have any sort of, we're just receiving updates at this point in time. We will not
Right.
have any conversations or anything about Bert Nash. This is just where it's at.
At this point, it looks like it'll be a commission
Okay.
decision, yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Any additional board comment?
That's the only question I have.
None. Thank you.
The other exciting update, though, is that Delmar Place had their ribbon cutting, so, yeah.
And it's so, if y'all have the chance to go look at those units.
Which one's Delmar?
It's on 23rd
23rd,
Street,
yeah.
right
Yeah.
across from the Dillons.
It's
The new Dillons.
Next to the church, right?
Yeah, across the street from the Dillons,
I got it.
Yeah.
Across the street from the back door of the Dillons.
right?
I don't have, I don't have that across the street from Dillons, new or not.
And
Okay.
they are working on getting that wait list initiated next year. So they're on their way. I think they just have a couple more units to finish up, but they look so good. And the bathrooms are huge.
Now,
Yeah.
that's the project that came back to us, right?
They only came
For
to
an
us
additional
once
100?
because
Oh.
they found out they had to extend
Okay, the $200,000
$200,000.
firefighter deal.
Yeah.
Partially funded that, I think.
And
Yeah, 100. Okay.
they are going to rental revenue is going to help fund the next one. So I think that we should be very proud that we had a small
piece
part
in
in
it,
that
yeah.
and a piece in it because it's permanently affordable subsidized units for seniors. It's great.
I'd like to hear.
It's a beautiful project.
Great way to end on the overview and updates. Thank you. We're going to move on to the future agenda items. Those would be to discuss city-owned lots for potential affordable housing development.
Yay.
And I don't feel like there's a discussion that needs to be had on there because we'll be discussing it in the future. But just to put out there, review and discuss proposed affordable housing incentive policy. So look forward to that discussion next time we meet. And so with that, we will move on to public comment. And so we will receive any public comment that is in the room first. We'll begin with public comment in the space in our office. Yes, come on up.
Thank you for waiting.
Yeah.
My comment may have been overcome by events here, but I did want to comment on my pet project, the Cohen-Esri development on the 7-Eleven parking lot, because I feel like that could come back. So first of all, thank you all for your good work, and I really think that this is an important thing. And if you could get that kind of a development that would work, with more than one elevator, et cetera, in the right location, that would be excellent. So I do want to say that I do support it. The 7-Eleven parking lot, though, is probably not a good location. I mean, that parking lot is heavily used, heavily. If you go there right now and try to park, good luck finding one spot. I mean, I live across the street from it, so I know this. So that's my concern.
Where do you live?
730 New Hampshire.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I've lived there a couple of years. I've lived in Lawrence for 31 years out south of town, or near Lawrence. Kids went to school here, all that stuff. That's my qualification. But the other thing that lot has, and I have an electric car, and so does my wife, it has the only public charge stations in downtown Lawrence are in that lot. And I have sent letters to the commissioners and so forth, trying to get more, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It's like the second or third most important thing in the world, but they're working on number one all the time. And this is the problem. So if you take that away, that will also be painful for people. So I just want you to keep that in mind, and that's all. I'm probably at my time, Lynn. There is one more final thing that I think it should be considered for seniors over there. And, that lot is next door to probably the loudest bar in downtown Lawrence. I mean, I live across the street from it. Tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday night.
It's rocking.
Yeah, I mean, 600 occupancy people over there in that pool hall and game room, and they pour out, and it just seems like a bad mix for seniors.
Did you tell us your name?
My name is Robert Barnes.
Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, I did
No,
not.
that's all right.
I get a
I'd
little
have done it
nervous.
and I
I'm not.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you very much,
Anyway,
Robert.
thank you for
Thank
your
you.
good work.
Is there, I see no other comments or people who want to comment. You're together. Okay. Let's take public comment online. Is there anyone who wishes to provide public comment on our Zoom?
This is Devin Rhodes with Floret Hill. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to thank you all very much for the recommendation that you came to for the Floret Hill project this evening. I just wanted to also clarify a couple of the comments that were made. I know that Barry had made that we are pursuing a Federal Home Loan Bank AHP application, and it is in the amount of $1.5 million. I just wanted to clarify that both the 800 that we requested tonight and the 1.5 million from the Federal Home Loan Bank are needed. And so, you know, obviously receiving 5, we're very grateful for, but we will need to continue to work to find the additional sources to fill that gap. So just wanted to let the board know that should we not receive, you know, the Federal Home Loan Bank AHP funds, then we will continue to do our job and find ways to find additional sources for the project. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Devin. Are there any other public comments on Zoom? Okay. Seeing none, I will look at our agenda calendar. We have next couple of days. I won't read those out loud to you all, but keep those as to be dates to contribute your time to January and February and March into the next year. Looks to be a really great year for us, talking more about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and conversation. And so with that, we are at our end of our meeting, and we have done it, 7:55. I'm so proud of us. We're
Could-
happy here.
Madam Chair, Donovan, this is Mark Bueller. Are you going to come to our meetings in person?
Oh, I think that's, go ahead, answer that.
Yes, I work sometimes later into the evening, and I rather would have been like sitting down for this meeting than driving during it. So that's why I wasn't there today. But yes, future meetings, I can attend in person.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
I mean, we want to see everyone here, and these discussions are really great when they're in person, but we appreciate your contribution, Donovan. And with that, I will say goodnight to everyone. Thank you for this meeting, and we are adjourned.
So
Yeah, good job.
we don't have a December meeting, but we're putting a special.